Yep. Good morning, everyone. So last session yesterday, I just given an overview of what are the topics we are going to learn in this course. I just given an overview about that. Means this is complete in-depth about JavaScript. So in this course, we are going to learn about JavaScript related various concepts. So I already explained the course content yesterday. So if anyone missed that, I will share a online link to you. You can go through that. So after understanding the basic concepts of what we are going to cover in this session, from today, we will start technically, practically understanding about JavaScript, right? So I already explained in the last session. Let me give you the summary. Yesterday, we discussed about the concepts we are going to learn. JavaScript language. We will learn about JavaScript plugins. We will learn about JavaScript libraries. We will learn about JavaScript widgets. We will learn about JavaScript related various APIs. These are the key concepts. So here we are not just only learning JavaScript language. We are going to learn so many things about JavaScript. These all concepts I explained yesterday. And I will share one link. You go through that. So related to yesterday's topic, you will get that information there. Okay. Right. Now, from today, we will start practically understanding and working with the concept of JavaScript. As I already told you that to learn JavaScript, the prerequisite is HTML. So you cannot directly attend this session. You must have minimum basic knowledge of HTML. With HTML only, you can manage JavaScript. So you need prior knowledge of HTML. So without HTML, you can't deal JavaScript. This class will not teach you HTML. This is for the people who already know HTML. Here we will learn only JavaScript and work with JavaScript. Okay. Right. So what is JavaScript and how it works, where it is used? We will see the basic introduction. Actually, JavaScript is lightweight, interpreted and just in time compiled programming language. That is the official definition of JavaScript. JavaScript is lightweight, interpreted and just-in-time compiled programming language. Actually, you might have heard from various sources. Sometimes people call JavaScript as client-side script. People call JavaScript in different ways. But technically, what is JavaScript? I will give all the definitions. We will discuss all the concepts of JavaScript as per ECMA standards. JavaScript is managed, maintained, and built by ECMA. We will take the definitions from ECMA. The official JavaScript people are ECMA. This is ECMA. ECMA International ECMA International. So these are the official people for JavaScript. ECMA International is official for JavaScript actually. This is ECMA International. This is the official website of ECMA. And whatever definitions, whatever concepts you are going to learn here, I am going to give as per ECMA standards. We are going to learn as per ECMA standards. It's taking time to get that page. This is actually the official website, ecmainternational.org, right? That is the official website. These are the official people for JavaScript. JavaScript is built, JavaScript is maintained, and JavaScript standards are configured by these people. So whatever definitions you are going to learn, whatever concepts you are going to learn here are as per ECMA standards. So we will not take up any controversy definitions because people come with various points. Like I have seen this YouTube channel, that YouTube channel. I have seen this website, that website. There they told me like this. We don't care about all those because we don't care about who told what on YouTube. We will care about only what people who built JavaScript told us. So that is the reason we will clear all the controversy in definitions and concepts by following the standards of ECMA so that nobody can point. That is completely baseless if anybody talks anything other than that, right? Because we will follow official definitions from the people who built it, who are maintaining it, and who are managing the standards of it, right? And if you want to refer the concepts, you can better visit this website. You will get more clarity on every standardization. Okay. Yep. Let's continue. Online people just disconnected for a while. Is it audible to everyone? Is it clear? Yeah. Okay. Let's continue. Yeah, fine. So now, what is the meaning of this definition? We will see. So first point, lightweight. We know lightweight lightweight means lightweight refers to memory occupied. So it refers to memory occupied. So how much memory it occupies and how heavy the application is. Lightweight refers to the memory occupied and how heavy the application is. That means lightweight means okay. So let's continue here. So it is a lightweight application. Lightweight means it occupies less memory and it specifies how heavy that application is. Next important, another one is interpreted. What is interpreted means, you know, programming languages. If you have any idea of programming languages, what is interpreted means? Interpreted means, so interpreted refers to line by line translation. That means it will translate line by line. That means a program is translated line by line. If a program is translated line by line, we call it as what? Interpreted. That means programming languages can translate line by line or entire program at a time. So interpreted, that refers to line by line translation. That means entire program is not translated at a time. It will translate line by line. JavaScript provides line by line translation technique that is called interpreted. What is advantage of that? I will explain. In next scenarios, you will learn about that. Another important is it is also a compiled. JavaScript is compiled. Compiled refers to translating entire program. That means it is referring to translating entire program. Compiled means entire program is translated. That means all lines of program are translated simultaneously at the same time. We call this as what? Compile. So JavaScript is both. It is interpreted and it is compiled. That means in some occasions, it can go line by line translation. In some occasions, it can go compiled. Compiled means all lines of the program are translated at a time. Now, very important is actually in programming technologies, we have two type of compiling techniques. We have JIT compile. So, and we have AOT compiled. AOT compiled. Now, in the latest technologies, everywhere, wherever we are using JavaScript, we are using these two techniques. JavaScript is used with two compiling techniques. Not only JavaScript, several technologies are using these two techniques. Just-in-time compiled and AOT compiled. JavaScript is both just-in-time compiled and AOT compiled. What is difference between these two? What is just-in-time compiled and what is AOT compiled? I will tell you a simple process. Actually, to understand that concept, a small representation I will show you. For example, we are having a browser. So we are using a browser. We are having a browser. And in this browser, so you will have, generally browser have a rendering engine. It will have a rendering engine. Usually browsers have a rendering engine. Browsers, you might have learned in HTML, browser engines and how browser engines will translate HTML. You might have learned that in HTML. I hope you know so many browser engines are there. So in general HTML, people learn about browser engines, browser architecture, because they need to know how the HTML is translated by the browser. Actually, you will have a rendering engine. So usually browsers have an engine. So I will show you here if you are not aware of that. But generally HTML people already know this. I will give an overview if you don't know. These are all various browser engines. These are all different browser engines. These are browser rendering JavaScript engines. Chrome uses an engine called Blink and V8. Firefox uses an engine called Gecko Spider Monkey. Generally, JavaScript and HTML are translated in a browser by using these engines. In many interviews for freshers, they may ask, what is the name some browser engines who are responsible for translating HTML, JavaScript. These are all general browser engines. Everybody knows in HTML. Huh? Now, actually, this is the browser architecture. Generally, how a browser works. We will have a browser engine. So we will have a rendering engine. These are all browser engines and rendering engines. Now, important point is technically, when you are using a browser and browser have a engine, so we developed an application. In this application, we are using some JavaScript. We are writing some JavaScript code. Now, what is our target is this JavaScript code should run on browser. Generally, what happens is this JavaScript code is loaded into browser. It is loaded into browser and it is compiled in browser. That means you written JavaScript code in your application. This code will load into browser and compile in browser. This mechanism is called as JIT, just in time. Just in time is nothing but just in time compiling is a technique where this JavaScript code is loaded into browser and it is compiled the browser. That means the JavaScript code first loads into browser and translates in browser. This mechanism is called as JIT, just in time. So what just in time means? Just in time is the process where JavaScript is loaded into browser and compiled in browser. This process is called just in time. So some technologies that are using JavaScript, they use JIT technique. Almost 99% majority of technologies up to 1-2 years back, they were using JIT technique. From past 2-3 years, 1-2 years, this AOT technique came and every technology started using this AOT technique. For example, JavaScript technologies means you see popular Angular, you see React, you see Vue, you see Knockout, you see Ember. These are all JavaScript based technologies. Few years back, these technologies were using JIT technique. JIT technique means what happens? The code is loaded into browser and compiled in browser. But from past few years, a new engine is designed and these engines can translate the JavaScript before it goes to browser. We call that mechanism as AOT. AOT is nothing but AOT stands for ahead of time. AOT is ahead of time. What is AOT technique is nothing but in AOT technique, what happens is this JavaScript code is compiled in application only. It is not compiled in browser. That means this JavaScript is compiled in the browser itself. It is compiled in the application itself. This mechanism is called as AOT. Earlier, JavaScript had to compile in browser, but now it is being compiled inside application itself. Application compiles JavaScript and sends JavaScript to the result to the browser. So this is more faster and more better in performance. It will reduce the burden on browser and it will improve the performance of JavaScript applications. All JavaScript technologies are implementing this mechanism recently. So JavaScript is both interpreted and compiled. And JavaScript have two compiling techniques, JIT compiling and AOT compiling. What is AOT compiling? AOT compiling is the process where JavaScript is compiled and processed at application level. At application level only it is done. And for that actually there are so many JavaScript compilers. That means we can use various engines. We can use various engines and compilers. We can use various engines and compilers. Very popular engines are like, we have engines like IV. IV is an engine. We have compilers like Babel. Babel is an compiler. These are the popular things that technologies are using to handle JavaScript. So many JavaScript people don't know all this because they use JavaScript with HTML. Because many people think that JavaScript is client-side script and it is used for HTML. But JavaScript is a huge language. It is a huge language. Remember, actually, JavaScript is a language which is used client side, which is used server side, which is used in database. In database, it is used with the various animation tools also. So JavaScript is not just a client-side script. So don't put a badge for JavaScript that it is a client-side script, which many people do. Because many people are learning JavaScript as client-side script. That is the reason for them, they put a definition and badge that JavaScript is client-side script. That is the wrong idea so many people have till now, thinking that JavaScript is a client-side script. JavaScript is not a client-side script. It's a very huge language. It is used server-side also. It is used in database also. It is used in various animation tools also. JavaScript is used client-side. Client-side with what we will use? Client-side, it is used with HTML-like technologies. Server side, we use JavaScript with Node.js like technologies. Node.js uses server side JavaScript. Databases use JavaScript like you have MongoDB. MongoDB uses JavaScript in databases. Animation tools, so many animation tools like Flash, like 3ds Max, all these use JavaScript. So many CAD tools are there. Computer aided diagram tools are there. 3D tools and all, they use JavaScript. That means JavaScript is not just a client-side script as generally people think. JavaScript is a very huge language which is used client-side, which is used server-side, which is used in database, and which is used in even animation tools. So technically, JavaScript is a language. So always say this point, JavaScript is a language. We can use in various ways, client side, server side, depending on the requirement. It is used everywhere. Actually, JavaScript supports various programming techniques and approaches. JavaScript supports different programming techniques and approaches, like it supports structural programming. It supports functional programming. It supports imperative programming. So it supports different types of programming. It supports object-oriented programming. All these are the features, different programming techniques supported by JavaScript. JavaScript is a very huge language. It is supported with so many programming techniques and approaches. It supports functional programming. It supports structural programming. It supports imperative programming, object-oriented programming, and all. And very important is, what is these programming techniques? You will learn once you start dealing with the language. Once you start learning any programming language, you will understand what is meant by structural, what is meant by functional, what is meant by imperative types of programming. Software programming languages are different types. They have different approaches. These are all different approaches of programming languages, and JavaScript supports so many. Actually, many programming languages are specialized in specific. Some programming languages are only structural. Some programming languages are only functional. Some programming languages are only object oriented, but JavaScript supports various. But very important point you should know, which many people have a wrong idea. JavaScript is not an OOP language. JavaScript is not an object-oriented programming language. It supports only few features of object-oriented programming. JavaScript is not a OOP language. So if I am saying that JavaScript have object-oriented features, means it is having some features. It is not a complete OOP language, because a complete OOP language requires a lot of things which JavaScript don't have, and JavaScript doesn't support them. So in that case, JavaScript is not a OOP language, but it supports some features of OOPs. Like OOP supports like classes, it supports like inheritance, and JavaScript also supports classes, inheritance, properties, methods, accessors, constructors. But generally in OOP languages, you have interfaces, abstract classes, access modifiers, which are not there in JavaScript. Then how it is an OOP language? That means JavaScript is not an OOP language. It supports only some features of OOPs. This must be very clear. If anybody puts a heading JavaScript OOPs, that's okay. That means he is explaining you some features of OOPs which are present in JavaScript. It doesn't mean that JavaScript is an object-oriented programming language. It is not an object-oriented programming language. So these are very important points to understand. I hope you are clear. Understood these points up to now. So JavaScript is lightweight, it is interpreted, and it is just-in-time compiled programming language. What is meant by interpreted? Line-by-line translation. What is meant by compiled? Complete program is translated at a time. And two types of compiling techniques are there. What are those? We have just-in-time compiling technique, ahead of time compiling technique. What is just-in-time compiling technique? In just-in-time compiling technique, the code is loaded into browser and compiled in browser. In ahead of time compiling technique, the code is compiled and processed in the application, not in the browser. So what are the compilers? So many compilers are there. We have Babel compiler, we have IV, we have Node compiler, so we have V8 compilers. There are so many types of compilers. These are all different types of compilers. Actually, the popular compiler used by technologies, this is actually ECMA standard. And this is actually Babel. This is Babel. It is a JavaScript compiler. So when JavaScript is being used, actually majority of people, when they learn JavaScript with HTML. Due to that, they don't even come across with compilers. They don't know, because HTML translates through interpreter mechanism. That's the reason you might have never worked with a compiling system. You may heard about JavaScript, or you may worked with JavaScript, but you never worked with compiling systems, which we are going to see. We are going to learn how to handle them. Babel is a JavaScript compiler. And what are the techniques it supports? Ahead of time technique, and another one is JIT technique. And JavaScript is not a client-side script. JavaScript is a language which is used both client-side, it is used server-side, it is used in databases, it is used in animation tools. And JavaScript is not a OOP language, but it supports several features of OOPs and several other programming approaches like functional programming, structural programming, and everything, different types of programming approaches. So this is a basic point about JavaScript. So if anybody asks where JavaScript is used, what do you say? It can be used client side, it can be used server side, it can be used in database, depending on requirement, right? You can use JavaScript anywhere. So different various locations we can use JavaScript, right? Yeah. Now, once you know what is the JavaScript, so now we will see the evolution, a small idea on evolution. Evolution of JavaScript. Evolution of JavaScript is nothing but how this JavaScript concept came. What is the concept of JavaScript? How this JavaScript concept came? Actually, in the early 1990s, in the early 1990s, where Tim Berners-Lee, he introduced HTML and a concept called web. He introduced the concept called HTML and web. And it was first used in the 1990s. Early browsers were, we have Mosaic. Mosaic is the browser, another one Netscape. In the early 1990s, there was a browser called Mosaic. Mosaic is the world's first browser. And after that, worldwide internet was used on a browser called Netscape. Netscape is the browser. Actually, these browsers used HTML as markup language and ECMA script as client-side script. These browsers used HTML as markup language and they used ECMA script as client-side script. So before JavaScript came, there was a script called ECMA script. Browsers used this script. It was manufactured by ECMA, European Computer Manufacturers Association. These people developed a script for browsers. Actually, they developed a script for different reason. It is used for browser. But what happened is, this script was unable to manage HTML completely because it was not designed for HTML. It was not designed for HTML, but we were using it. So ECMA script was unable to handle HTML properly. That's the reason what happened is, in early 1995, Netscape appointed Brendan Eich to develop a script for browser. Netscape company appointed Brendan Eich to develop a script for browser. We call Brendan Eich as father of JavaScript. He is the inventor of JavaScript. He developed the concept of JavaScript. And Brendan Eich is very popular. Mozilla Firefox, that is the browser he designed. He is the architect of Mozilla. He was CEO of Mozilla for several years. Just few years back, he resigned from the CEO role of Mozilla company. And he is the head of a group called MDN. MDN is the official JavaScript library. So Mozilla Developers Network. If you want any perfect information about JavaScript, only two people you can follow. One is MDN, another one is ECMA. Because JavaScript follows the standards of ECMA, and JavaScript is developed by Brendan Eich, and he is the head of this group, developers group, MDN, Mozilla Developers Network. So if you want correct information of JavaScript, two references. One is you have to follow two references, ECMA International, and another one is MDN. These two are the official people for JavaScript. Actually, so Brendan Eich developed a script for browser, but when he developed, So first it was named as Mocha. It was named as Mocha. After that renamed as Live Script. So first its name was Mocha. After Mocha, its name was Live Script. Its name changed to Live Script. After that, what happened is this script belongs to whom? This script belongs to company. It belongs to a company called Netscape. Brendan Eich developed, but Brendan Eich was appointed to develop by a company called Netscape. So the JavaScript in the initial stages, it belongs to Netscape only. It is developed by Brendan Eich for a company called Netscape. So it belongs to Netscape, developed by Brendan Eich. But what happened is Netscape is not a professional company that can maintain a language. It is not a company which can maintain a language. That's the reason what Netscape has done is Netscape, this is Netscape company, Netscape, this Netscape given the rights of maintaining the script to a company called Sun Microsystems. They given the script rights to maintain the script. They given rights to a company called Sun Microsystems, because Netscape is a company which is not popular for maintaining languages. They don't have that ability. That's the reason they given the maintaining rights to a company called Sun Microsystems, which is very popular for a language called Java. In the early 90s, Sun Microsystems was very popular for their language called Java. That is the reason Sun Microsystems named the script as JavaScript. They named the script as JavaScript just to tell the world that this is from the same people who are maintaining Java. There is no relation between Java and JavaScript. Why it is called JavaScript? That is just because by the company who maintained it. There is no relation between the word Java and its functionality. That means this script have no relation with any Java concepts. Then why it is called JavaScript? I thought JavaScript means it will have some concepts of Java. If it is not having any concepts of Java, then why it is called JavaScript? That is just because the Sun Microsystems company in the early days when they were maintaining, they want to tell the developers communities in the world that we are the people who are maintaining. Because developers community will not adopt and use any script until or unless it belongs to some good people in the background. For example, if I ask you, tell me some trending front-end technologies. If I ask you, tell me some trending front-end technologies, you always talk about React and Angular, right? You will always talk about React and Angular or maximum Vue. But not only those, there are so many such technologies which are used across the companies all over the world. That means not only just React and Angular, like React and Angular, there are so many technologies which companies are using, right? Companies are using like Backbone.js, which is very popular. They are using Ember.js. They are using Ember.js. They are using Vue.js. They are using Knockout.js. It was there before Angular React came. Knockout.js. Even today, several companies have these roles, job roles. They will say that we need Backbone.js people. They say that we need Knockout.js people. They say that we need Vue.js people. But what you people know is popular React and Angular. Do you know why they are popular? They are not popular just only because of their functionality. They are popular because of the people who are behind them. They are popular because of the people who are behind them. That means React, behind React, who is there? Facebook. Behind Angular, who is there? Google. Google. That means if you know that a technology is maintained by large people like this, then you have more confidence to use it. Because if you have any technical issues, you know that these big people will support me. But if you are using something which is not maintained or managed by a large community, then you will think that if any problem comes, how? I need to face a lot of issues. But remember, even today, several companies are not using Angular and React. They are still asking for so many other type of scripting technologies, which you may not know. You may think only Angular and React. That is because who is behind this? That is also matters, right? Because we will not simply use a technology without knowing who is maintaining, because issues are important. That means you are purchasing a software for developing an application. If any issues comes, their community will support us. And if you are not following such huge communities, then problem. That's the reason Sun Microsystem wants to tell the world that we are the people who are maintaining this script. That's the reason they named this script as JavaScript. So how the name JavaScript came to this, right? Actually, its name was Mocha. After that, it was named as LiveScript, originally developed by Brendan Eich. And after that, it is maintained by Sun Microsystems. After that, what happened is in the early 2000, Netscape company stopped its services. Netscape company completely closed. The company closed. Netscape company completely closed, and they given this JavaScript was given to a company called ECMA. That means they haven't given JavaScript to Sun Microsystems. Sun Microsystems just maintaining it. Then they given JavaScript to ECMA. When they given JavaScript to ECMA, now ECMA started maintaining this JavaScript. And what they have done is they started maintaining JavaScript, and from at least for more than a decade, that means up to 2014, ECMA script, that means JavaScript. Up to 2014, JavaScript internally maintained by ECMA. There were no much changes. They were just maintaining it for 10 years. They just maintained JavaScript. After that, what happened from 2015 onwards, ECMA thought that why to just maintain? Let's develop this, add new features to this so that we can contribute, because JavaScript is widely used 80% on web JavaScript only. In that case, why can't we just maintain, not only just maintain, why can't we add more features to this? And they started adding new features from 2015, and they started releasing the version called ES5. And actually that version name is ECMA script 2015. This is the version. From this version, JavaScript started with several new features, which many developers don't know who know already JavaScript. That means ECMA started adding new features into JavaScript, drastically started changing from 2015 onwards. Up to 2015, it was plain JavaScript. Remember, even today in JavaScript, we have the same features what was there in the first release when Brendan Eich developed. That means many softwares, what happens when new features are coming, old features are removed. But in JavaScript, not like that. In JavaScript, in the first day of JavaScript, what they developed, it is still there, but we don't use. We don't use, but it is still there. It is not duplicated. That means it is not removed. That means JavaScript never says that this feature is deprecated, means removed. ECMA never removed any feature of JavaScript because JavaScript is being used worldwide on web, and many people are still using web on very old browsers. And they started deprecating some features. Then old browsers cannot handle internet. They cannot handle the websites. That is the reason they decided that we will not deprecate any option. That means we will not remove any option. We will just go on adding options. That is the reason JavaScript is one language where you will find the options of first release even today, but we don't use them. We don't regularly use them. There are such features, so many features like that in JavaScript you will come across. That means some old features are there. Your trainer will tell you that don't use these anymore, but you will find that they will be working, but in some instances they don't work. So don't try these. That is the reason whenever anybody is teaching you HTML, JavaScript, whenever he teaches you a small element or a function, he need to tell you browser compatibility. Browser compatibility means he need to tell in which browser it will not work, in which browser it will work. That is compulsory. In every tutorial of HTML, JavaScript, they have to mention which browser will not support, which browser supports, because browser wise compatibility issues are there. That is one of the major. So ECMA people started developing new features into JavaScript, and from thereafter they changed this JavaScript name as ECMA script. So now if anybody is saying have you learned ECMA script, you know ES6 or ES5 or ES7, that means he is talking about JavaScript. JavaScript versions are ECMA script. From now 2015 onwards, JavaScript is called as ECMA script. But still we generally call it JavaScript, but actually its name is ECMA script now. And from 2015, they started giving year versions. So after that, now the latest version is 2022. The latest version of ECMA script is 2022. And the next version they are going to release is next. ECMA next. They are given the name next, but it's not sure because they just given a alpha name. That means by the time they release, they may change the name or they may just continue that name. The next generation of JavaScript, the next version of JavaScript after 2022 is ES next. Actually, the current latest version is of JavaScript. JavaScript is ECMA script 2022. That is 2022. In short, people call it as ES 2022. ES 2022. And up to that, actually, before that version, that means before 20 version, it is called ES5, it is called ES6. This is very shorthand. That means ECMA 2016, 2017, 2018, ES8, like that. After 2019, that means after ES9, we started giving the complete name 2020, 2021, like this. 2022 is the latest. Till that moment, we used to give this number 5, 6, 7, 8. That is actually year number. The latest version of JavaScript is this. You can see this is ECMA script. This is ECMA International official website. And in this website, that is the ECMA script version number. So that is the ECMA script version, and this follows the standards. That's the affair. Try again. Some server, they have a problem in the server. Fine. So that is the versions of JavaScript. I hope you are clear. And which version of JavaScript we are going to learn is we are going to see up to latest 22 features. Up to ES 22, what are the latest features they have introduced, we are going to discuss. But companies are not using that. Companies are still working on which versions of JavaScript companies are still working on. Majority companies are still working on ES6, or maximum companies are using ES7. ES6 or ES7 only companies are still using. That's the reason if you go for any job opportunities, so they will give you, so that is, suppose this is Naukri. In the Naukri, suppose you search for front-end developer, so which is for JavaScript. So ES some 6 or version here you can search specially. You can see front-end versions developers for JavaScript. They will ask, especially some companies will ask the version. Some people will just say any version is okay for us. Any version okay, that means they will just mention that you need to have knowledge of JavaScript. But some people especially say that you need to have knowledge of ES6, because some new features of ES6 they may be using very frequently, very regularly in their applications, then they will ask that knowledge, right? So if they are asking ES6 or ES, maximum ES only, right? So maximum ES6, right? JavaScript is not used more than that. So in companies, majority of JavaScript is used up to ES6 only. ES6 only they are using. ES7, ES8, 9, so many features are added. Some new features are. We will discuss all the features advanced up to 2022, what new concepts are coming. But you better concentrate up to ES6 is at any level of software companies, at any experience, maximum they expect only ES7. Even you say, I know ES 2022, even interviewer is not having an idea on that. Even interviewer don't know what is 2022 is having. So the reason it's waste. Even he don't have a questions on that, right? Just can tell that I have an awareness on these versions. Okay. So these are the JavaScript versions. This is the basic evolution. I hope you are clear. So two concepts I explained. What is JavaScript and what is the evolution of JavaScript. So now once you know how working with JavaScript, now we are going to learn about how we can set up environment. Environment means how to use JavaScript. I will explain. That means where where to implement JavaScript. Where to implement JavaScript? We'll implement JavaScript with the HTML clients, with HTML client side. We implement so JavaScript with the Node.js server side. Node.js server side. We will implement JavaScript in MongoDB database. It is in database. We implement in softwares like Flash, 3ds Max, like this. This is in animation tools, animations. Now the question is, what is the role? What is the role of JavaScript with HTML? What do you say? What is the role of JavaScript with HTML? You will implement JavaScript with HTML. For which purpose? What is the role of JavaScript with HTML? No? Anything technical terms? Now, why you are using JavaScript with HTML? What is the necessity? I am asking why. What is the purpose of JavaScript with HTML? Actually, the main point is JavaScript is used with HTML for DOM manipulations. This is the major concept. That is the main point. That means JavaScript is used with HTML for DOM manipulations. What HTML does? HTML presents DOM. HTML presents DOM. You know DOM. DOM is document object model. HTML presents DOM. What JavaScript does? It manipulates the DOM. That means it makes the static DOM into dynamic. That means what does DOM manipulation means? Adding elements into page. Am I right? Remove elements from page. Remove elements from page. Adding elements into the page, removing elements from the page, update data into elements. All this comes under DOM manipulation. They all comes under DOM manipulation, right? So anything else? DOM manipulation means adding element, removing element, updating some data into that element. It is used for client validations, right? Client side validations. And it is used for client side interactions. It is used for handling plugins and extensions. JavaScript is used for handling plugins and extensions in the browsers. For example, your browser is not enabled with cookies. If cookies are not enabled, you can't log in into any website. Then how browser knows whether cookies are enabled or not? How they knows that you don't have a Adobe Reader so that it can open a PDF file? That means you are trying to open a PDF file. Your browser says, I don't see a plugin. You are trying to watch a video. Your browser says, I don't see a video plugin, so I can't play this video. All these kind of interactions are managed by whom? JavaScript. JavaScript is used with HTML for doing all this. That is what actually, so many others will be there. Now, what is the role? What is the role of JavaScript? JavaScript server side with the Node.js or any technology. What is the role of JavaScript server side? Actually, server side, it is going to handle server side interactions. Server side interactions, like it includes request, it includes response. That means it is going to handle request, it is going to handle response from the client. And very important, actually, JavaScript server side is used for server side objects. Server side objects like managing memory, so like managing operating system, like managing files. All such interactions are managed by using JavaScript. That means managing your server memory, managing your operating system services. Operating system means server operating system services. Managing the files on server. These all activities are done by JavaScript server side. Actually, it is even used for configuring APIs, server side APIs, business logic, and it is even responsible for handling communication between client and database. All these activities are done by JavaScript server. People use JavaScript client side for those reasons I told you. People use JavaScript server side for these reasons. And for what purpose people use? So what is the role? What is the role of JavaScript in database? Actually, You know, databases use a language called SQL, or you call SQL. Databases require SQL or SQL like language. By using that language, what you can do? You can perform all CRUD operations. CRUD operations means create, read, update, delete like operations. But do you know there are so many databases which are not SQL based? There are so many database technologies which are not SQL based. Then there all happens through JavaScript methods. JavaScript methods. That means JavaScript is used in database to handle CRUD operations. CRUD operations, not only CRUD operations, database administrations also. Database administrations also done in JavaScript in non-SQL based database. That is a huge one, right? So JavaScript is not just client side. It is client side, it is server side, and it is used in even database. And what is the role of JavaScript? JavaScript in animations. Animations also JavaScript have a lot of role. Animations means, you know, you might have learned CSS transitions. Am I right? You have learned CSS transitions. More than CSS transitions, JavaScript can control the transitions dynamically. In CSS, you can design transitions, and JavaScript can control those transitions. That means transitions, animations, you might have learned keyframes. All these are controlled. In CSS, keyframes are present. Keyframes, all these are controlled and managed by JavaScript. JavaScript actually, it is used in building 2D and 3D games. You can even build 2D, 3D games using JavaScript. So that means the people who use JavaScript, that means actually people who use JavaScript, they use for all these reasons. And very important, what you may not know is JavaScript, what is the role? What is the role of JavaScript? JavaScript in mobile applications also. It is used in mobile applications also. It is not just in general web applications, animations, databases, server side, even mobile apps. That means you have seen a lot of touch events, touch interactions, right? So lot of touch interactions, lot of effective UI. So view designing, all these are done by using JavaScript only. And there are so many frameworks which use JavaScript for mobile development. You might have heard about Apache Cordova. Apache Cordova. You might have heard about Ionic. You might have heard about a concept, native script. These all frameworks use JavaScript. They use JavaScript for mobile development. JavaScript for mobile development. For example, you see here Cordova Apache. This is Apache Cordova site. This is Apache Cordova. And you can build mobile apps with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. It is a framework. It is used for building mobile apps. That means you can build applications for Android, iOS, and even Windows apps. JavaScript is very, very huge language, right? What our people think about JavaScript is related to only web designing, right? But anywhere, language is same. Some features will be additionally used. Some features will be differently additionally used. Language is same. Variables, data types, operators, statement, functions, classes, objects, everything same. Some new features will be added. That means for mobile development, they need some new features. For example, you are developing a web application using JavaScript. What events you will use? You will use on click, on change, on blur, on focus like events. But you are developing an application for a mobile, then on click, on change not enough. You need touch. You need touch events. That means you need to deal with a lot of touch events that generally people don't learn when they learn JavaScript related to web. That means mobile people learn several new components, several new events, several new interactions, several new plugins. All such things we can do by using JavaScript. This is all very important features about JavaScript. I hope everybody understood. Now we are going to have an idea of JavaScript. So we will learn JavaScript. I will give basic idea of complete JavaScript, which you can use everywhere. How they are used in different situations. At the end, I will give a simple overview. That means I will give you a simple overview how it is used for mobile, how it is used for server side, how it is used in database idea I will give you. But our main concentration is learn the complete language, and you can use anywhere. Anywhere you can handle interaction with that. Okay. I hope you are clear with this. Then for that, first we need to learn how to set up environment for JavaScript. That means how to install, how to set up, how to create a project to start working with JavaScript. Installing softwares. JavaScript runs everywhere. You don't need to install, but what are the softwares to install for compiling? Compilers like Babel, like other compilers. How to create a project with JavaScript and how to start the project working with JavaScript. These practical points we have to see now. That we'll see in next session. Right, tomorrow we will do that. So in tomorrow's session, we will start practically working on JavaScript. How to install, what to install, and how to set up environment, all these things we will discuss. And we will learn through a professional way. Professional way means we will learn concepts like web packs. We will learn concept like parcel like concept we will see. So web pack parcels like concepts are used for building large scale applications at high level. So those we are going to see how to handle them, right? That we'll see in next session. Tomorrow we'll continue with that. Okay. So, and whatever I am explaining here, I will upload this into a Google Classroom. I will share a Google Classroom code with you. I will create a Google Classroom code with you. This is JavaScript 9 AM. Yeah. So in this JavaScript classroom, I will upload all the notes and everything what we are discussing in the class, right? All these notes and everything I will upload there, and I will copy this. I will share the, this is the classroom code. So you join this from Google Classroom. Okay. That's a Google Classroom link. You join this here. I will upload all the classroom related notes. You can join here.